This man was a Maimik h'tשכ, when we just learned Shabbos Parshas Korach, Tmuz. Tavshin Beis, this is Yud Beis Tmuz, Yud Gimel Tmuz. Sunday. Tavshin Beis. Let's begin. Everybody has it? I sent it to you. Everybody's got it? Yeah?
Yes.
Good. Tomorrow, Rabbi Hashem will be in MTCU coming home tonight. And we have copies there prepared. Anybody can go upstairs and take a copy. So the pasuk says in Yeshaya, all that call on my name, Yeshua speaking, and my honor, Barosiv, I created him, Yitzativ, formed him, Afasisiv, indeed, I have made him. Very familiar pasuk. Quoted at the end of Pirkei Avos, but quoted extensively in Chassidus. Its obvious reference is to the Dalad Eilamus, Kvedi Atzilis, and Barosiv, Bariya, Yitzira, and Asiyah. This beard, however, is a completely different beard, as we shall presently see. In the pasuk zeh, so this pasuk balahemshech comes behemshech mavu b'psukim shalifnei zeh, comes behemshech to the psukim prior to it, which talk about, as most of all of Yeshaya does, al derech hagula hakreiva v'asid novi b'korev mamish, about the geula, which is near, the future, near, soon to be redemption through Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Shehi geula kazul, it's such a geula, the final redemption. Shaf echad mi Yisrael, in Yiddish ken ein and ein tzikerid. Not one Jew, but Yishar b'golus will remain in golus. It's an unusual maamar that begins right away with this very powerful statement. They put it in the Yiddish. It's strongly expressed, not one Jew will remain in golus. The psukim say, so what do the psukim say before this pasuk? They read as follows. Hashem says, Mimizrach ovi zaracha, from the east I'll bring your children, Umimayriv akabetzcha, and from the west I will gather you. Omar Latzofa, and he says, or Ember, I will say, Ember, I will say, God is speaking, Latzofa to the north, Tni, give, in brackets, Stammer from Rashi, Teres Yisrael, Hapzurim Shoma, give me the Yidden that are dispersed there. Ulatayim one unto the south, Al Tichloi, do not hold back, Al Timni, Militenes Yisrael, do not stop me, do not prevent from giving my children the Eden. Hevi, Bonai Mirochak, bring my children from the distance of Benoisa Miktsayora to my daughters on the edges of the world. Right? And then the pasuk goes on to say, Hanikra B'shmi, as we just read. Hainu, summary of Psukim we just read. Shekol b'nei Yisrael yikabtzem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That Hashem will gather in all the Yidden. K'moshe Kosov, as the pasuk says, like the pasuk K, the pasuk we quoted, is pasuk Zion. Hashem says, Al tiru, do not fear. Ki itcha ani, I am with you, and this always happens. I dem Mashiach Tzidkeinu. So having said all of that, mamshich b'kosov, the pasuk continues, Kol Hanikra B'shmi. Now, how does this follow? All that call on my name. So he brings now the Pirish of the Targum Yonasa. Okay, the Pirish b'Targum, here's the Hemshech now. Having described the ingathering of all Yidden, the next pasuk is the one that we began with. Let's see the Targum's Pirish. Kol da. All of this. What's all of what? Everything described till now. That the redemption may come very soon. All comes, but deal because of Avahoschain Tzadikaya, your righteous forefathers. The itkeri shmi aleihim, that they called my name upon them. In other words, simple meaning is going to ask what the diak means. My name is on them, but it simply means they lived lives of devotion to me, where they called my name upon them. That's called Hanikra B'Shmi, is referring to the Avos, the tzaddikim. In brackets, Shazeh called Hanikra B'Shmi. That's the meaning of all who call on my name. So the Targum is saying that all the aforementioned, the ingathering and so on, is because of those who called on my name. The tzaddikim. Well, Mamshech, the pasuk continues, explains the Targum Yonason. Ulichvoidi barasiv. Ulikora, and for my glory, berisinun, I created them. Explains the Targum, what is the meaning of that? Iskandis galusain, I held them fast, affirmed them in their galus. They remained, this is referring now to Yidden. This is now Yidden. The schus of the tzaddikim, so Yidden are mesukin, are fixed, are affirmed, kiyam, endure in galus. That seems to be the taich of Yitzartiv. And the afasisiv, I even made him, means avdis lahin nissen, I even made for the miracles in Zman HaGolus, in the schus of the tzaddikim. Are you following how the Targum touches the pasuk? So let's just look at the top of the look at the pasuk and we'll give the Targum's pirush. Kol Hanikra B'Shmi refers to the tzaddikim. This pasuk comes behemshech to the previous pasukim describing kibbutz golias. Why does it happen? Bedil. Because of those who called on my name, that's the forefathers, the tzaddikim. Ulichvoidi barasiv. So for my glory, I created them. Doesn't add any pirish to that, but he adds on the Yitzartiv, I established them in Golus, kept them, they endure, they exist. And indeed, I made miracles for them. Yeah, that seems to be the Pirish. Now, are we clear? Yeah, you have to understand, what's the connection between the Geula, Bedil, Avasachon, Tzaddikai, that it comes in the bracket, Shagula, Babas, Chusas, Tzaddikim. What's the connection with the Geula that comes in the Chus of Tzaddikim, Lozet, to this, that we understand, okay? It comes in the Chus of the Tzaddikim, that's not a question. But the question is, Lozet, She'itkiri Shmi Aleyoin, Kol Nikra B'Shmi Dafka, how the Tzaddikim described, what's their virtue, that they call on my name. Kol Nikra B'Shmi, that's the way to describe this Chus of the Tzaddikim, in the merit of which Geula comes. What is this? Many ways to describe the Tzaddik's virtuousness, the forefathers, virtuousness in Tzidkas and Kedusha. Why is it described as a merit for Geula? What did they do? They called on my name. That's the question. We're clear? What's it again? That this is for my covered, my glory, in the words of the Targum Yikor means glory in Lashon Arami. So what's the connection to Abish's glory of all things? It's covered. That's the second question. We have to understand also the relevance of the final statement. How does the Targum explain Afasisiv? I made for the miracles. We're talking about here in the merit of which we merit the Geula. Was it negate to say that in the past I made miracles? Lomar Khan, to what the theme here is, should take a Geula, soon redemption is coming. Hashem is assuring his people, if I'm with you, I'll tira, do not be afraid. Why is he throwing in all of a sudden? The point is redemption is coming. Comes the schus of tzaddikim. Good. And we endured the golus. Okay. I even made miracles for you. You like the emphasis is switching here. Now we're going back, miracles and Golas, but the whole point is talking about Geula. So why we're talking about Geula, is it important to say that I made for you Nisim and Golas? Okay, the questions are clear. So we have 3 questions on the Pasuk as the Targum explains the Pasuk. Number 1, why the Avos described as calling on my name? Why is that the description? Why is this connected to Ulechvoidi, my glory, in particular? And why is it relevant to say that in Golos they wish to perform miracles for us? And all of this is a achana, prelude. So because of the tzaddikim, that, all the previous psukim were described in gathering. So all of this is all negeya to the geula and to our avodah in zman hagolos, which you need to understand, and that begins the maamar now, and that begins to explain. We're clear, guys? Yeah. You've met the Mashikoso, so I understand this prefacing that which is impossible. Parsha Sashvot the Minah as Linon from the parsha from which we just. So this was Parsha Piנחas, but was Sunday, and Yibis Tmuz was Sunday, was Shabbos. Parshas Balak. So there he says, I see him from the top of the mountains, from Migvois, Ashereno, and from the hills. Ashereno also means to see, different kind of seeing, as we learned. So what is he referring to? We said B'medesh, who are the mountains and who are the hills? Rashi has a different pirush, that they are strong and firm like mountains and hills. But the Zoya and the Medrash is to say it's referring to the Avos, particularly that Surim, the mountains, literally rocks, peaks, Areno, Eila, Avos, that's the Avos. Migvois, the hills, Ashereno, I behold him. Referring to Yidden, Elohimois, that's the mothers. Why is he bringing this pasuk? Because that's the pasuk we just quoted. This is that the gula comes on those Hanikra B'Shmi, as the Targum said. B'dil of a sochen tzadikaya, because of your righteous forefathers. This is also expressed in the Medrash al pasuk kel doidin izeba. The voice of my beloved comes in and is announcing Geula. Shagam pasuk zeh kel Geula. This pasuk is also talking about the final Geula, and this is a pasuk in Shir Hashirim. There too, what do we see? That all comes b'schus the others. What does the Medrash say on this pasuk? Omar Kadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says, what the voice is coming, skipping, we got same thing, skipping over the mountains, voice, skipping over the mountains, jumping over the hills. We encountered this in previous Maamarim. The between skipping and jumping. Jumping is the etzem is netak, if you remember, and skipping is with 1 foot. It's based on the mission in all those. At any rate. Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so the Eibishter says on this pasuk, the voice of my beloved is God speaking. I hear his voice and he's coming, skipping and jumping. Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm looking. Some of that's hinted in the pasuk. I didn't need to see the Medrash. Generate. The miyanim mistakel, whom I'm looking at, says the Eibishter, in his coming to redeem the Yidden, lavisei makdoshim, to their holy forefathers. In the schus of their office, I will redeem them. And that's what it means. The voice is coming. I hear him coming. Same thing again. It says the Medrash, and skipping over the mountains. Who's the mountains? Mountains refers to the office, and the hills to the Imois. That's the Medrash on Shir Hashirim. Back to our pasuk in Parshas Balak. Now this is also understood even Pshuta Shamikra. How so? The pasuk Akdama, this is how he begins his whole bilams, his whole brachas. The klolis teichen a parsha. This is the Akdama to the general content of the parsha. But still teichen that Balak wanted to build the coast of Yidden, it didn't happen. And it doesn't happen b'schus the obvious. It's said in the Zohar too. Mashikosa b'Zohar sham. Mareish Surim Ilon Inon Avon. So Mareish Surim, these are their fathers. Migvois Hashreno and the hills Ilon Imohin, that's their mothers. Bein Mahaisita from this side or that side, the father side, the mother side. La Yecholin Lataya, he could not curse the Yidden because they are protected by the schus of the us and the Mois. What happens in the end? Kimafach, the opposite. So this is how the whole thing begins. Even Pradeshimik Rashi says it means that the Yidden are firm like mountains and rocks. I can't dislodge them. But we're getting where does their strength come from? It's from the us and the Mois. That's the theme right now. And therefore, that's how his whole, it's introduction to everything which follows. I cannot curse them, they're protected. And the contrary, it all turns into brachas. Kimafach. The opposite, he goes on to say. Inyan ha-bracha dafke. What are we getting is brachas as we see in all the details of the nevuas as the parsha unfolds. He describes the geula, and he says that a star will shoot out of Yaakov. And a ruler will arise from Israel. And Yidden will do valiantly. The Krel Bisa Mashiach, that's a reference to Bisa Mashiach. As the Zohar explains, that this is also all referring, Binyan Bisa Mashiach, as we'll say later, summary, simple summary of all of this. That both the posuk Nikra Bishmi and likewise which then lead to the geula, that's his final nevuos, Bilam, it's all b'schus the ovis and the mois. That's the nekuda. We had the questions, the yukim in why they're described in Kol Nikra Bishmi. That's what the Maamar is going to explain. And what's Kvaydi got to do with it, and the fact that he did miracles in the past, why is that integral to the geula? So that we're going to explain. But that's the general outline. All right, friends.